Hello, this is Dr. Brenda Esh and Shoshana, back with another little talk on simple solutions in a complex world. Actually, the world really isn't so complex. It's very simple. We just make it complex by all of our thoughts, expectations, demands. You've got to be like this. You've got to be like that. And so many of us are so upset and angry because someone has disappointed us. Someone has betrayed us, someone has let us down, and then we can be angry for weeks, for days, for years. Of course, that upset and anger only hurts ourselves. It hurts us, it doesn't hurt them. And it stops the flow of all kinds of wonderful things in our life. We think that we have to continue on and on until something is worked out, until we come to peace. We think there's so much complex intervention that's needed, and that's not true. I want to tell you something very surprising. I'm going to give you a step to take, a tool, and it will immediately end the conflict you're faced with. Now, maybe we don't want that conflict to be over 1, 2, 3. We're kind of addicted to taking time, working things out, figuring it out. Who's right, who's wrong, who's good, who's bad. That's how we function. And I'm not saying there's something essentially wrong with that, except that it doesn't really usually bring the peace and the healing that we're really looking for. It also doesn't bring the clarity about what's happened. Here's a different way to try. Let's just try a simple solution in a complex world and see for yourself what the effects are. Here's a very wonderful step. Say somebody does something to upset you, to unnerve you, to make you distressed. In your mind, say to yourself, to them, but you're saying it to yourself, I grant you the right to be who you are. Wow. That is such a profound and simple and powerful statement. I grant you the right to be who you are. They don't hear your words out loud, but something inside of them hears it, and you hear it. You're not going to engage in combat to change them. And whatever they did or said, it tells you, that statement tells you, it has to do with them, not with you. That's who they are. That's their feeling. That's their perception. That's them. And not only that, do you stop the projection onto you or feeling it's your fault, but you allow them to be who they are because that's who they are. They are who they are at that moment. And you step back and you watch it and you become acquainted with who they are and what they're really trying to say. That's another whole topic because often when someone is angry or upset and they're blaming you or they're pointing a finger, that upset is really deep within them. It's about something very different that they have no consciousness of, no awareness of. They're crying out. They don't even know what they're saying most of the time. So when we say, I grant you the right, because to be who you are, we're not saying they're right, I'm wrong, you're right, you're wrong. We're saying you are who you are, and I recognize that. Not only that, I'm not judging you, I'm not condemning you, I'm not joining in the war, I'm not hating you. I grant you that right. You are who you are. Actually, that is an act of love. It's an act of love when we're willing to perceive the other person, be with them, not run away, be present with them, and wait. What comes next? You could be silent. What comes next? Who are you? Let me know who you are. They don't know most of the time. But let's find out. Mm. You're not taking it personally. You're not jumping back and punching back at them. I grant you the right. And it's a very, very beautiful moment, perhaps for the husband or wife, children, in a family, friends, work situation. You're making space. That statement, I grant you the right to be who you are. You're not trying to change them or fix them because you cannot change or fix anyone else. You cannot. You cannot. You can receive them, perceive them, get to know them. And in that kind of climate, in that atmosphere, they will quiet down and get to know themselves. They won't be condemned by you. They don't have to continue the warfare between the two of you. They will step back and they'll inevitably see something about themselves as well. How does a person change? That's a fantastic question. What is it that creates the change in ourselves and others that we're all longing for? It's not somebody dictating to them, do this, do that, do this, do that, or I'm leaving the relationship, or I don't love you anymore. That's not going to create change. Change happens naturally, organically, and inevitably when we see for ourselves who we are or what's really going on. And all you can do to help someone see that is to be there with them and see it too. You're accompanying them on their journey. You're seeing it as well. And you're not judging them. You're not hating them. You're not rejecting them for it. You're just allowing them to be who they are at that moment. The next moment, things will be different. I want to tell you a story, a beautiful story of a Zen master who was called to, his brother called him and said that he had a son. This was a nephew of the Zen master, a wayward nephew. That's those days they called it wayward. This nephew would not listen to his father. He kept getting into trouble. He couldn't be disciplined. He couldn't be handled. So the brother asked the Zen master to come and visit and help out. The Zen master said, yes, I'll come. He came to help. And he came to visit. Now, naturally, the nephew expected all kinds of reprimands and everything like that. No, the Zen master didn't do that. He just accompanied the young boy wherever he went. He came along with him. He was his guest. If he went to the park, the Zen master came, accompanied him, experienced that along with the son. When the young man went to other places, the Zen master came right along with him and was there with him, accompanying him, experiencing it with him. And the young man was constantly waiting for some kind of words of direction, reprimand, something. Didn't happen. The Zen master was granting him the right to be who he was, but he was observing it. He was seeing it. He was accompanying him on his journey. Finally, at the end of a whole long week, long time, the Zen master didn't offer any words of direction or reprimand, and it was time for him to go home. The young man was a little confused by that, but what did he do? He went into his uncle's room as the Zen master was packing up to go back to the monastery, and he was waiting for something. And then he noticed that the Zen master, as he bent down to tie his shoelaces, a few tears were falling down his face. When the young man saw those tears, he was stunned. He was stopped. he was not able to continue on as he had before. Always really loved that story. The tears just felt naturally, organically. They said everything that had to be said, not with words, but they were said. And the Zen master taking the time, joining him, sharing the life of his nephew. It all made a huge difference. So I'm very happy to share that story and also that little phrase, I grant you the right to be who you are. When that right is granted, fully, deeply, growth and change are inevitable. Thank you for listening. It's beautiful to be here with you. If you enjoyed this, please press like or subscribe, whatever you care to, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.